What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Thank you so much for tuning back in here for an exciting episode. We are finally starting our 2022 NC State football season predictions. Again, we have all 5 of us here today. Again, it's not very often. We've only had one other time where we've had 5 screens. So we're bringing all 5 of us on because we don't have anybody from the Tuffy Talk crew missing as we break this down and get everybody's thoughts and opinions. But again, basically, this is going to be a 3-part series here. We break down 4 games each part, and then again we'll kind of see what everybody thinks in terms of their season predictions, and kind of talk a little bit along the way. So with that being said, we are going to start off with none other than East Carolina University on September 3rd. Again, we're only a couple weeks away, as crazy as that seems like. Just to kind of a little bit of background. So again, the last time we played was in 2019. Beat them 34-6, smacked them, and then the year before that we beat them 50-3. If I'm not mistaken.
58
off the top of my head.
58.
Yep.
It was a beat.
And so 58-3. Dang, yeah. And so right now the Vegas has a line at State is favored by 10. The over under is at 55.5. And so it's kind of gone a little bit between 11.5 and 10, but we'll see what happens with that. So Macon, you're first on the list. So what's your prediction for it?
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and straight out of the gate and say, I think State gets this win. I think for me in this team, the sense that they're hungry, even though they feel like they're slightly the hunted. Obviously, ECU's going to treat them as the hunted. ECU hates NC State's guts, but I think State's going to come out of this knowing this is a season-defining kind of game. Right off the gate, it's to prove something in the state, and I think State gets the win here. I actually think it will be. I want to say it's going to be maybe like a 2-score kind of game. I think ECU will have nothing to lose, and they'll try anything. They'll pull out some plays early in the book. And I was thinking about this. Holden Ahlers may be. I was listening to a podcast too. So is Holden Ahlers their best quarterback they've ever had? Because he may be statistically.
Shane Carden.
Shane Carden. I know.
Shane Carden's up there.
He's up. I know. But his stats though, I think he's at like 10,000 passing yards and like a lot of touchdowns. Yeah. So he's up in that discussion, in my opinion.
Sure.
But yeah, I think they'll be good. Their running back's really good. And I know they'll have a nice balanced attack there. But I think State's gonna get the win. I think this is particularly a game where you could see. A nice feature on both sides against a solid, respectable opponent.
Absolutely. Greg?
Yeah, I also think State wins the game. I would think we would cover. I think it'll be close probably through halftime, and I see us pulling away in the third quarter. Just too much what's the word I'm looking
Firepower?
for? Too much talent to not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at least 10 plus points.
Michael?
Yeah, I'm in agreement. It's going to be a win. I mean, the environment is not going to be easy, but I think, I don't know if we really. I mean, we do have a better level of talent, but I think the key difference is going to be the experience of this team. It's a mature team, even going into a crazy environment like that, first game of the season. Especially with our defense,
mm-hmm.
I think the team has enough experience and maturity to, it could be a close game. I think it could be anywhere between 10 and 15 points.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I got enough confidence in the defense, especially to start the season with a win.
Yep. Kens?
I also think we're going to win. I don't think it's going to be a close game at all, though, if I'm being completely honest. I think that because of the bowl game getting canceled, they're going to treat this as our bowl game, even though ECU kind of went through the same thing. But I feel like with the defense that we have, since they're all finally back healthy, like haven't seen that in a hot minute. So having all of them back on the field, I feel like they're going to go off. Yes, ECU has a good running game. They have some good wide receivers as well, but I feel like our defense and our whole team, Devin Leary's definitely ready. I just feel like we're about to go out there and just show the world why we should be in the playoff. Week 1.
Yeah, and obviously for me too, I mean, not only do I think we're going to win, but I need that win. I mean, just again, just for me personally, being there, like I can't accept,
Well,
anything less than
Imagine my mom.
victory.
I can't go
So
home
yeah,
with my mom.
exactly.
I
well,
can't
So
do it.
again, I think we said this before in previous episodes. And let's just reiterate now that we're doing preview, but I do think this game will be a litmus test for State. Just like I
sure.
think the Texas Tech game could be a litmus test for the season in a way too, because I think it's a similar opponent, but I think better in that regard. I think you get an early
Mm-hmm.
tell with this ECU game what you're going to get. Um, I'm
Yep.
I think it's also going to tell game one how well your team's conditioned because it's going to be hot. It's going to be hot
True.
and humid there in Greenville, and I'm going to be curious to see whose team starts dropping like flies first. So
Yeah, when me
Yeah.
and Hannah looked it up, they said that it's going to feel like 110 when we looked.
Well,
Yeah,
And I was
I
like,
don't
oh.
doubt it.
I don't doubt it. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I think right now the temperature is projecting for 88. I know it's still a little early, but the old
Yeah.
AccuWeather projecting out 3 weeks in advance.
But I
gonna
think
be
the key
more
for
correct.
me, though, honestly, is that we need to have at least a 14. But I predict more to a 17 to 21 point lead by the fourth quarter. Because I mean, I think we all know, about the no quarter, fourth quarter, and all that. And so I think we need to take them out of the game by then, because
well,
because they will use that fourth quarter to get them ready for the fourth quarter. And
yeah,
if we keep them in that game, then they can make a run at it for sure.
you're going to have to go out in the first quarter and pop them in the mouth, try to go up a score or
Early.
two early,
Yeah.
real quick. First drive, shut them
Yep.
off on
Shut out the
defense
crowd.
and score on offense real quick. I think that's what you're going to have to do.
Absolutely. All right, so that is going to be the order, and so for each game, we'll just kind of move one over. So Greg will go first, and we'll continue around the circle. All right, so game number 2, we got Charleston Southern. I don't think we'll spend too much time on this unless anybody wants to go into too much of a spiel. But Greg, get us started.
It'll be great. Hot home opener. It'll be warm. I think that's a 12:30 kick, if memory serves
Yep.
me correctly. So it'll be another hot game. First time we've ever played Charleston Southern. So that'll be something new. We've never seen them. Really, the only storyline here is we stole their quarterback
And leading
Jack
rusher.
Chambers. So, and
Mhm.
leading rusher. That's true. So yeah, I think this will be a game where you're going to see that to quote basketball, they're going to empty the bench, right? I think everyone will get a chance at it. You could probably even see either like a Jack Chambers or Ben Finley in the third or fourth quarter. Just a game to tune up to get ready for the big
Yep,
one coming
absolutely.
after that.
Michael?
Yeah, not too much to add. I mean, we took their only good player, so he'll probably get some playing time against them.
Yeah.
I'd like to see, this is one of the games you like to see the backups and the third string, just see what that depth is like, especially at quarterback. Because if Leary has a year we're all expecting him to have, he's probably not going to be here next year, and quarterback will be a big need. So I'd like to see a little bit of Ben Finley and even MJ Morris too.
Yeah. Well, and again, obviously, we got to think about this year still even. So, I mean, I think that it would be even more funny to have Jack Chambers honestly play as much as he can for not only just the benefit for the rest of the season, like just go ahead and getting him some live snaps with our offense, but also too, I mean, just getting them playing against his old team. That would be hilarious, to say the least. So, Ken's, go ahead.
I think that it's going to be a win.
Yeah.
I hope to see some second and third string players just so we don't have to worry about, I don't even want to say the word, but that I word, injury. Don't want to see any of that. So I think I want them to try to get our starters out as much as possible before ACC play. So hopefully we'll see that in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same here. Again, I mean, obviously, when they haven't even released the line yet, but I'm sure it's going to be pretty massive, and I think we'll take care of it easily. So, again, nothing much more to say than again we have their starting quarterback for the last couple of years. We also have their leading rusher, and then their highest rusher that they had besides Jack Chambers only ran for 293 yards. So, nothing really much to talk about there with Charleston Southern. So, hopefully 2-0 heading into Texas Tech, but Macon?
The only thing that tidbit that I was going to add that I thought was pretty funny was I know we have all. I think the match predictor, it's according to the ESPN's FPI index, has
Oh yeah, I saw that.
State with a 99.5% chance to win this game. So it's
So
kind
you're
of like
saying there's a
that thing.
chance.
Yeah, it's like that from Dumb and Dumber. So it's like, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the highest number I've seen on the FPI predictor in a very long time. So I think it'll be blowout. It could be like the ECU game was a few years ago, where it was 58-3. Maybe we'll see an offensive lineman score like Bradbury did that game. But I think
Yeah.
injuries is the most important thing. Like these first, I mean, particularly these games will probably the same thing with UConn or any game you don't want to have injuries, but in this kind of thing where it's like there's no need to burn out your starters. So I actually do think Jack Chambers is going to play a good bit more than Ben Finley and MJ if they had to play a second stringer. So I think you'll see Jack be that second string quarterback this season.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now moving on to Texas Tech, which again, I mean, is an exciting matchup to get another Power Five non-conference opponent coming in. So we are actually 2-0 at home against Texas Tech, and we're 4-1 all time. So we do pretty well against Texas Tech if history tells it right. So Michael, why don't you get started? Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah, so I'm excited for this one. I mean, it'll be our night game at home, first night game at home with the new lights.
Yep.
Excited to see what that looks like against a Power 5 opponent. I mean,
Non-conference.
we should, our only non-conference Power 5 opponent.
Yeah.
We should win this game.
Yeah.
Texas Tech is everything I've seen. They're going to be one of the worst teams in the Big 12. They've got a new coach, but we should win this game. And this isn't like the Mike Leach Texas Tech. Like they don't have that high-powered offense. If you look at last year, we had more total yards, passing yards, and we're higher in scoring than them last year. So it's like we should be able to take care of business. I mean. They're probably ECU could be better than Texas Tech this year, honestly. But
yeah,
either way, the environment's going to be good for that first night game at home.
It's going to be sick.
So I'll be excited for that one, but should be a W.
Yeah, no, it's going to be sick. Cans, go ahead.
I also think it's going to be a win. I think the 12th man is going to make it even a bigger win than it should be. I think, like Michael said, the lights, first night game, Wolfpack Nation is going to be absolutely insane. With all the hype coming about. This is like our first test kind of other than ECU. I am excited to see Malik Dunlap come back to state to see how he's been, because I've been keeping up with him and he's doing a really good job at Texas Tech. So I'm excited to see how he stands up against our guys, and I think it's going to be an easy dub.
Yeah. And he was a cornerback, correct? Because he was back in 2020. Yeah, I remember that. Cool. Yeah, no, again, great little insight there, Kens. Yeah, one thing which I thought was interesting looking back is so they actually have 14 transfers coming in. And that's, I mean, a lot of schools have, between 8 to, 12 or so. So, I mean, it's just crazy to see that this is where we are. But again, literally that Texas Tech has 14 transfers coming in. That's insane. But yeah, I mean, I think for me too, again, I think the 12-man will be too much. I think that Texas Tech is not as, of all the teams that we'll see, statistically, they do not do very well against the pass defensively. And obviously that's definitely going to be our strength this year. So I feel pretty confident that we'll take care of it by double digits. But again, we'll see what happens. I think as the line, I think was, do you guys remember what the line was? I should have had that ready. But
I haven't seen it for this.
Oh, has it not come out yet? Maybe it hasn't.
Okay.
I think ECU is the only one. It was 10 points or something like that.
Well, Clemson was Clemson's come out, and then Louisville was, I think Louisville was actually a pick'em game, but again, we'll get there. So a couple games came out, but anyway, yeah, Texas Tech feel pretty confident. Shouldn't have too much issue, and then also to the fact that they're going to be playing more likely a redshirt sophomore at quarterback who split time last year with a senior, and then they have 2 running backs in the backfield that both ran for about 500 yards, so they don't necessarily have like a workhorse running back. So again, not too much there that I see, and also too with no coaching staff that worries me. Macon?
Yeah, I think Coach McGuire is going to be a good coach for them. I think he's already doing some good recruiting for Texas Tech, it looks like. I know we were talking with Philip Danford from IPS, Inside Pack Sports, recently, and he was talking about how they've hired the Western Kentucky offensive coordinator, and he's a very dynamic, or not the word dynamic, just unique offensive scheme that he will run at times. And
Yep.
I think this will be a game where they don't have a lot to lose. But I will say, if you look at their schedule, the week before they play Houston, and the week after they play Texas. So they have a
Jeez.
pretty tough stretch there. And I don't know if Houston's supposed to actually be really that good this year, but they've been good recently. I was trying to look through the rankings, and I don't see them popping
Yeah,
up.
they're
They were
Are
top
they were
20.
25 in the coaches poll that came out.
Okay. So that's
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
playing
they're
a
top
top.
25.
They're going to have some teams there where I don't know where Texas is even ranked if they are. See like top 20 here. So
19.
somewhere in there maybe. So they're going to have a very tough stretch there, which I think plays an idea that it could add to State's benefit. State have just come off playing Charleston Southern. I do think this is going to be a win. I think it's going to be an exciting atmosphere in the first night game. I think State's going to really emphasize getting a non-conference Power 5 win and what this means for the season moving forward. It does not affect you. Even if you lose, it doesn't affect you in the ACC standings, but it does if you have goals at this season to have a shot at anything national. So, and it's a perception thing. You want a good win. You want a Power 5 win.
Yep.
I think it's a win.
Great. Greg?
I mean, you guys have pretty much covered it, so I'll just talk about my tailgating menu. I'm excited to have some salsa verde and some carne asada tacos. So, and then I'll be full
Love
and we'll
it.
get a win.
Let's do it.
So we're
Win.
good.
Good deal. All right, so now we'll finish it up here with UConn here for part 1. So I think we're at Ken's. Go ahead and hit us. Well, actually, here too. Let me give a couple stats here first as well. So we are 2-0 all time against them. Last time we faced them was back in 2012. So Glennon's last year and O'Brien's last year. Only beat them 10-7 actually. So crazy low scoring. And obviously, I think that tells you a lot too in terms of where the UConn program has gone. Obviously, to at one point just 10 years ago, basically take us to the wire, and then here they are being arguably one of the worst programs in all of college football right now. It's kind of crazy to see. But Ken's, go ahead.
I predict the score is going to be 52-0 for this game, honestly. I think that just like Charleston Southern, this is going to be a rest for our starters, and which I'm glad for Clemson the next week. So I think that's a huge benefit for us with the schedule. But I think we're definitely going to beat UConn. That's the nicest word I can say.
I think I get what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. A hard whooping. Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at UConn,
PG.
the only thing that's of interest is I was looking at their transfers, and they have 8. There's 2 transfers that are interesting. One is the first one is his name is Dane Shore. He's actually transferred from Alabama, actually a 4-star offensive tackle out of high school. So not to say that plays a huge difference because obviously he's offensive tackle, but just it's like, whoa, okay, dang, how did UConn get an offensive tackle from Alabama? That's pretty crazy. And then the second one, which is Dane,
Not Dane, but Dane.
Anyway, yeah, Dayne.
Dane, right? His name is Dane.
I actually remember him in recruiting.
Oh, okay.
Actually, when I was
instead of Dang,
when
it's
he
Dane.
committed to remember when he was committing actually to Alabama the first time around.
Oh, okay, dang. Interesting fact there. Appreciate it. And then the other one, which is obviously of interest, is Traquan Roberson, who was a 4-star dual threat quarterback from Penn State. He's transferring over, so I'm sure we're probably going to see him more likely. I'm sure he's not transferring here to sit on the bench. So UConn might
That'd be
get a
pretty
couple
bad.
on us. I don't know if it's going to be a shutout, but yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like a game like the ECU. They'll get like a late field goal or something like that, so to keep the shutout off. But we'll see. Macon, go ahead.
I think this is a win. I think if you're now counting it, I think currently going into the season, State has a 10-game home win streak, I think is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so this, going into Charleston Southern and UConn, I think this will make it 12 home wins in a row.
13.
Or if it takes Tech. If I had a win,
should be
right,
13.
13, excuse me. So, I think this is going to be a 4-0 start to the season. And I really like that we're playing UConn too for going into the next game, which we'll talk about in a second, obviously. But I like that it sets up the way it does here.
Yeah. Michael, anything else to add?
No, I mean, biggest thing, like just avoiding injuries to the starters going into Clemson.
Yep.
I think I saw a quote from Jim Mora Jr. who said eventually he wants UConn to be in the ACC. So they might be a few years away from that.
No.
We'll see.
Maybe you invite women's basketball in, and that's it.
Yeah. Men's basketball too. I mean, they'd be a good basketball fit, but yeah, I think they're a couple years away in football.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, so with that being said, so not too much of a shocker. Obviously, I mean, I was kind of waiting to see if any of us would have picked us to lose against either Texas Tech or ECU, but I'm glad that we're all on the same page there. So again, we got all of us here. We got in-state going 4-0 heading into Clemson, and so make sure to tune in with us for part 2 as we start with the Clemson game, and again do the next 4 games, which is Clemson, FSU, Syracuse, and Virginia Tech. So, and if you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, which is free to do, and it helps notify you whenever we release any new NC State content or any of our live streams as well. And also, make sure to check out our brand new channel memberships for as little as $1.99 a month, or all the way up to even just only $4.99 a month. You get access to members-only videos, newsletter, private Discord, and the list goes on and on in terms of perks. So make sure to check that out. And also to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter or Instagram. But thank you also so much. And also, too, if you're an NC State fan, hit that like button. Just to let us know that you're an NC State fan out there. Thank you all so much. As always, go Pack, y'all.